Hello everyone, and thank you for watching my March West Summerlin update video. Now, as a 10-year resident and specialist of West Summerlin, these videos are for us, the homeowners and potential buyers. Today, we're going to discuss last month's sales and then compare them to February of last year. We'll check out our current inventory levels and break them down. Next, we'll discuss the most recent report from SalesTrack that illustrates how effective our inventory levels actually are. So let's get started. Okay, first, our last month's sales. Last month, we only sold 14 homes in 89138. This is down 22% from last month's sales of 18. But here's what's more disappointing. Last February, we sold 29 homes. Think of it this way. Last year, we had half of the available inventory we have today, and yet we sold more than twice as many homes. That's not a great sign. Now, speaking of inventory, currently we have 59 homes available for sale. This is up 7% from last month's total of 55. Now, in contrast to the rest of the Las Vegas, where inventory is decreasing, we're actually increasing at a moderate amount. We're still down from our high of 68 homes back in November, though. Okay, now let's break down the inventory. 17% of the inventory are short sales, while 8% of the inventory are foreclosures. This leaves 69% of our inventory as traditional sales. Now, what's interesting here is the fact that we have 69% of our inventory as traditional sales, while the rest of the Vegas Valley is at 77%. Now, this could easily be explained since all of the Paseos Village was built at the peak of the market. Therefore, most of the original owners in there are still underwater. Now, despite the low rate of traditional sales, however, we still have a very healthy demand from buyers to move to West Summerlin, which has really helped us out. Okay, next, I wanted to show you a report that came out about a week ago from SalesTrack. It shows the effective housing inventory. Now, unfortunately, SalesTrack is always about 2 months behind. But the good news is that 89138 has one of the lowest inventory ratios throughout the entire city, with a 2.4 month supply. I still think that this is actually indicative of the market, but based on the numbers that I just gave you of 59 homes available and only 14 sales, this means that we've gone from a 2.4 month supply to a 4.2 month supply in only 3 months. So what does all this mean? Well, just like I've been saying, many of our neighborhoods are already 5 to 8% below what our peak sales prices were last year. I think many neighborhoods will continue to see price reductions. Now, on the other hand, the subdivisions that aren't overpriced, I'm seeing homes still sell in weeks' time if the owner is realistic on price. Buyers aren't desperate anymore. So if you overprice your home, it actually discourages agents and buyers from even showing it, since they figure we're too far apart on price to even bother with. Now, my advice for sellers is simple. Price is most important now. Make sure you're priced accurately and don't even bother asking for more than anyone has sold for the past year. I haven't seen any sales in the past few months break records here. Also, now that buyers are becoming more picky, don't underestimate the value of a new paint job and carpet. Even though paint is cheap, I've got contractors that'll paint the entire house for $1 a square foot. Most buyers are put off by vivid colors or normal wear and tear on the walls. Now that the market is settling and becoming normal, investing a few $1,000s on simple repairs before you list can easily make you tens of thousands of dollars back. Remember, most buyers don't tend to care about spending $10,000 more for a nicer and cleaner home, since it's only $50 a month more to them in financing terms. Most buyers didn't have much or any equity in the home that they just sold, so financing $10,000 more is much more enticing than spending, say, $5,000 in cash for those repairs, especially after they just wrote a check for their down payment and their closing costs. Okay, we're going to cut away real quick to a segment that just appeared in my monthly Las Vegas update video, which explains where my data comes from and why you shouldn't necessarily believe everything you read or see in the media about local real estate sales numbers. Okay, now for a segment I'm going to call, Where Did That Number Come From? Now, while I'm a firm believer that numbers don't lie, I'm also keenly aware that numbers are easily manipulated. Today, I'm going to explain where and how I get my data and why you should be skeptical about what you see or read in the media. Okay, first are the notice of default numbers. I receive daily emails from the title company which reflect the most recent day's NOD numbers. This is typically about a couple days behind. I keep track on a spreadsheet, and then I compare the spreadsheet to the monthly totals they send out just to ensure month-to-month accuracy. Next are inventory levels. See, every Wednesday or Thursday, I get a report from the title company, and then I compare that number with the amount that I can pull directly from the MLS. Now, assuming that there's no major discrepancy, I tend to just go with the title company's numbers to remain consistent. Now, every month when I break down the inventory, I simply log on to the MLS on whatever day I do the video and essentially take a snapshot of the market that day. Typically, videos are shot the first week of every month. Now, this is where it really gets interesting. How does everyone measure monthly sales? Well, the predominant leader of this data is a company called SalesTrack. Typically, the numbers you read in the media are provided by this company, SalesTrack. Now, recently, I noticed that their numbers varied tremendously from the numbers that MLS reports. Now, recently, I had the opportunity to meet with Brian Gordon, who is the principal of SalesTrack. When we met, I asked him why there was such a discrepancy between these two numbers. For example, SalesTrack states that existing home sales for December of 2013, a couple months ago, was 3,453. Okay, well, the MLS shows only 2,244 sales of resale homes that same exact month. How could we possibly have a discrepancy of 1,209 homes? The answer is actually simple. When SalesTrack states existing home sales, what they really mean is existing property sales. This includes townhomes and condo sales. Okay, well, right up there, the MLS picked up another 484 condo and townhome sales then. But we're still missing 725 sales. So here's the trick. SalesTrack also includes for sale by owners and auction sales into their mix. Now, while one can argue that these sales should count, you should also need to realize that we're talking about two completely different worlds here. Foreclosure auction sales typically sell for what you would consider wholesale prices. This is where the flippers purchase for cash and then resell on the open market or, MLS market. So in December, 21% of the sales you read about in the media are actually wholesale auction sales. If you're a typical buyer or seller, is this data really relevant to you? Normal buyers don't go to the auction and buy $200,000 homes in cash without title insurance. Most of these homes that sold at auction come right back onto the MLS like 3 weeks later, either as a flip or a bank-owned foreclosure. To me, it's kind of like double dipping and skewing the reflection of the actual market that consumers rely on. For this reason, when I discuss last month's sales, I only go off the MLS sales since this is more indicative of what is occurring in the real market of real estate. Well, that's it for this month, guys. Have a fantastic March, and don't hesitate to contact me directly with any questions or concerns you have about Las Vegas real estate.